Where are you on Cooper Flagg? Because what keeps me in it with Flagg is the way that people talked about him from the Olympics in 2024 and the way they said he really held his own in those practices. I see a very good player in college. I don't see the player that I hear people talk about. Like, he does not jump off the screen to me in that way, but everybody else seems to see it. And if you tell me that he did it against the best, now you've got me. So where are you?
I love this kid. And I say kid because he's 18 years old, and he's going to be 18 years old when he starts his NBA career and debuts for the Dallas Mavericks. You have to understand, this guy should be coming out of high school. He's going to be debuting as an 18-year-old, a year and a half younger than what KG was when he came out of high school. So, like, you have to kind of start re-engineering Cooper Flagg as a prospect and remember that he classed up so that he could get into this draft class, and he should be coming out of high school. So first things first, he started at Duke as a 17-year-old, okay? So when you're the best college basketball player, when you started as a 17-year-old, you're special, okay? And then there isn't really a weakness in his game, right? People thought, oh, that jumper, I'm not so sure about that jumper. He was one of the best three-point shooters in America in the second half of last season. He's got handle. He's got toughness. He plays defense. He can block shots. He can guard on the perimeter. He's a great attacker downhill. I went to one of his games. They're playing Pitt, and they showed these highlights over and over last night in the draft. And Jay Billis was like, dude, that game, there's highlights all over the place. I was there for that because I was doing this charity event. It was like you could feel this guy. Like you could feel him from the stands. And I know Cameron Indoor is a little matchbox there, but you could feel his presence. Every time he jumped from the floor, the gym kind of bounced because he plays with that kind of power. And he was by far the best player on the floor in that game. And he dunked all over one of those pit bid guys in the fast break. And he's just fearless. I mentioned KG earlier. I think if he hits his ceiling, he's KG. He hits his ceiling, he's KG. If he's the big ticket, this guy's the big login. Like, that's this generation's KG if he hits his highs. Because I think he's got the full skill set like KG does, the competitiveness, the two-way play, the ability to play point forward. And I just think he is the real deal. In Dallas, though, I don't love the fit, the expectations for him there, and it just doesn't feel like the right situation for him. But I love him as a prospect.
All right, so the thing for me is KG was perhaps at a point the best defensive player in the NBA. Consummate, crazy person leader, right? Like it works in its own absolutely insane way. The counterpoint on KG, or where we start hitting KG with some demerits. Again, a guy who was up there with, potentially the best player in the NBA at a point. Yep. Also, Game 7 against Sacramento and 0-4 notwithstanding, not the dude that you want to bring it home with the ball at the end. And I think that people look at Flagg as a guy that you want to be that guy who can do that. Like, is that something that you can see for him?
Yeah. It wasn't a good look at the end of the game in the Final Four there to end his college career.
When he fell down again, because he seemed to keep falling down. That's the third time he fell down.
Well, he was wearing Nikes, right? And he's a New Balance guy. So maybe if you make that switch at the next level, we'll fix that problem. I think he's great. In this season, like his advanced stats are off the charts as a 17-year-old coming in and now an 18-year-old. You just don't see that from a guy that young. And so when you're projecting him in 4 years, remember KG, his rookie season when he was playing with Googs and Terry Porter. I work with Terry Porter, so I got to ask TP what it was like to be there with a rookie KG. Took KG a couple years before he became an all-star. This rookie year, I think he averaged like 10-4. I think the expectations for Cooper Flagg right away is a lot higher than that. I would pick him as the early favorite for Rookie of the Year, but there's a lot of expectations on him. Like, I think in 5 years, he's going to be 23 years old. We're probably going to be able to like evaluate this pick or how good he is in like 8 years, because that's how young he is. I think that Cooper Flagg, from what everyone says, is the best competitor, the leader, everything that you want from a young player. And that select practice that he had at Team USA, he wasn't scared at all. Like, you watch him out on the floor and he was going at dudes. So I was expecting him to be a little shy around those. I mean, this is LeBron, this is Steph, this is KD. These are the greats of the greats, right? Still at the peak of their powers. and he held his own, more than held his own.
Who was the last number one pick to go to a good team? Like, Tim Duncan is the last one that I can think of off the top of my head. And yes, I know the Spurs were bad, and that's what helped them get Duncan, but that was because David Robinson was hurt. Like, as soon as David Robinson showed back up, they were a good team.
I want to say this is the Mavericks are the best team to land the number one overall pick since Duncan. Like, in terms of record, it might even be record-wise better than Duncan, because that's
it would have to be worse, because they were terrible that year before in record-wise because Robinson got hurt. I
want to say, if not the last 30 years, I think it might be the number one pick, the best record going, because they were 39-43. The Mavericks were, and they landed the number one overall pick. And unless you traded the number one pick or traded a pick that became the number one pick and it jumped, it's very hard to have a team that's basically 500 win the lottery. So he's coming into a situation with AD. I think he's going to be playing a lot at the 3, considering that Nico Harrison has always talked about defense wins championships, and he's basically over a barrel with Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively and AD. They want to build this big team. So Cooper Flagg is going from a lot of times playing at the 4 last season, and he's going to be 6'9", playing at the 3 position. He's going to be tested a lot of nights because the NBA is going smaller and this Mavericks team is getting bigger. So that's going to be a real test for him. But like, ultimately, we're not going to be evaluating Cooper Flagg this upcoming season. But I think Jason Kidd and the expectations, and Nico Harrison giving Kyrie Irving a 3-year, $120 million extension, the expectations are win right away. And he's a winner. We know that. But for an 18-year-old coming into the NBA, trying to fill Luka Doncic's shoes, that is some expectation that we have not put on a lot of number one overall picks.
We so hyped up to make the Cooper Flagg thing happen, we ain't even got time to not like him for the best reason there ever was not to like somebody.
He went to Duke.
He went to Duke. You ain't even got to be white and go to Duke, just to be clear. R.J. Barrett ain't washed the Duke off yet, for God's sake. Right? Like, you ain't even got to do that. We have not even gotten around to be like, man, fuck this dude. And we should. He went to Duke. Hey. He don't seem like fully one of them, but I tell you this, Kyle Knipple, you got a lot to overcome with me, buddy.
Hey, and don't forget the Charlotte Hornets. You know how mad they were that they didn't get the number one overall pick? They drafted not just his teammate in Kyle Knipple, but his Montverde teammate in Liam McNeely, like the kid from UConn. And by the way, before the draft, they were showing this like video on ESPN where they were like, here's the McNeely kid, where he and Cooper Flagg were hanging out and just like laughing in a photo shoot. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Cooper Flagg and his twin brother. That's pretty cool.
What a time. Tom Haberstroh.
I was just losing. I was like, man, that kid looks so much like that Cooper Flagg. I thought it was his brother. And I'm a white dude saying that. So Bomani,
yes, you could do that. Hey, look, man, I had the situation with them Harper boys. I was like, yo, so which one of these is the basketball player? They can swap them boys out. Dylan Harper and apparently it's Ron Harper Jr. Man, they could be out here like I always thought the Morrises could do, because the Morrises used to have the same tattoos also. They could have easily just been sliding it out. I'm glad since they got on TV, one of them got a cut and one of them got the hair, because otherwise, how the fuck am I supposed to know?
Nope. I don't even want to try. And I'm a twin, not a twin sister, but I'm a twin. I should be pretty good at this. I should be pretty good at figuring out who's who. No, not with the Morris twins. Like I have a hard time when one of them is on ESPN. I'm like, is that Markieff or is that Marcus? And without that little nameplate on the screen, I wouldn't be able to tell you.